going to be showing you guys how to make this ruched dress with a sweetheart neckline and puffy sleeve. So the first thing you're going to do, we're going to start with the skirt. So the first thing we are doing here is just to fold your fabric into two. As you can see, these two fabrics are folded. This one is folded into two, the second one is folded into two. So the second one is my back panel, the one on top is my front panel. So how you're going to determine the width of this fold is just to measure your hip measurement divided by 4, plus it depends on you guys. You can make this A line, you can make it a little bit straight. So I'm going in between A line and straight cut. But if you want to have it like the one on the thumbnail, guys, then you might want to do your hip measurement divided by 4 plus like maybe extra 5 inches or so that you can be able to get that A line and then ruche it up and have that drape. So for me, I'm doing my hip measurement divided by 4 plus like extra 2.5 inches is what I have here. So guys, the next thing is just to measure from your waist. So this part is going to be my waist, this is going to be the lower part. My waist to my hip measurement is what I'm going to insert here, which is down here at 10 inches. And then after that, the next thing I'm going to do is just to come up to the waist. I'm not going to be adding that to this here, but if you want, you can add a dart, especially because it's A line, so I don't want to add. So guys, the next thing you're going to do is divide your waist measurement by 4, add it here. I'm not adding that to this here, and then I'm going to add extra 1 inch of side seam allowance, mark that, and then come down to the waist, to the hip line, which is from here to 10 inches down here. I'm going to divide the hip measurement by 4, mark that, and then add like 1 inch of seam allowance here. So guys, now the next thing I have to do is from the edge of my clothes, this is where the A line comes in. So if you added extra 5 inches away from here, then you're going to extend your tape to the end of the cloth, right? If you added extra 4 inches, you can extend it, that it will go wider than this. But guys, I'm using about 2.5 yards of fabric here, and I don't want mine to I don't want to use a lot of fabric. So plus guys, I want it a little bit fitted. So guys, you can just the only difference here is that you can extend yours a little bit more. If you added extra 4 inches away from here, you can just extend it all the way to the end of the cloth. So let's say the end of your cloth goes even longer than this. All you have to do is just stretch your tape to that point from your hip line and connect it down to that point. But this is where mine ends, so I'm just going to connect from that's my hip point down to the edge of this cloth. So that's basically the explanation here, and then connect from your waist to the hip. So I've connected everything now. This part here, I'm going to come up by 1 inch just to give this end here a curve. Come up here by 1 inch and then curve it into the edge of the end of your clothes. This is normally done when you're making a line, just so that the edge of your cloth is not pointy, because sometimes when you make a sharp bend going across and this one going across, it gets to be pointy and drapes longer. It comes down longer than what it's supposed to be. So you have to cut off 1 inch from there and then blend it so that it will still rhyme to it will still be the same length with the end of your cloth. So guys, now that I've done that, I'm going to cut this part out, this excess at the edge here, cut this part out all the way to the top. So guys, you see I have my zip allowance for the back because this dress is going to have a zip at the center back. So guys, now I'm going to, this is about 1.5 inch for the zip allowance at the back. I'm going to split it open so you guys can see I have 2 pieces at the back. So 1 piece on, you see how the A line goes now. So you see I have 1 piece here, 2 pieces for the back panel, 2 pieces for the back, and then 1 piece for the front. So this is, so guys, you see I've placed everything, 2 back panels, 1 on this side, 1 on this side, and then 1 front panel. So that's basically it. All I have to do now is to find the center of my cloth. So I'm going to set the back panel aside. There's nothing else to do to this back now. I'm going to just take the front panel, and then you have to decide which side you want the ruching to be. So for me, I want it to be on my so guys, I want it to be on my left side. So I'm going to mark on this side now. All you have to do is to use, like, maybe you can use your nipple to nipple measurement and mark it. So for me, that's about 8 inches divided by 2 is going to be 4. So I'm going to just mark 4 inches distance all the way from here to this side. So that's where I'm going to make the casing for my ruching. So on a straight line like this, mark it down. So guys, now I have this straight line going all the way from the top to the bottom. I'm going to cut out the casing now. So guys, this is what I'm using for my ruching. So it's about 2.5 inches of width. Guys, you can put this ruching in front. I already have a video on how to do this. You can put it in front, just cut the same length as your skirt, and then just fold the one side this way, sew it down straight, and then fold the other edge this way, sew it down straight, and then make a center stitch. So you're going to have 3 stitches on this here. So you're going to place this like this on your skirt, fold this side in, sew it down, fold this side in, sew it down, and then make one center seam. So that means coming from one end here, one rope will come in here, the other rope will come in here. So that's basically how this is done. But guys, I don't like to put it on top here because it doesn't look clean. So I'm going to go from the inside of this cloth. As you can see, I've transferred that same straight line here. I'm going to just put this here, so that way my ruching is going to pass inside of my cloth, so that when you're looking at it here, the surface here still looks the same instead of having this fabric on top. But it depends on you what you want to do. And then before I get to the end of this, when I get to the end here, I'm going to fold this, cut it off, fold it, and make sure that you've already folded the edge of your clothes too, right? You've already folded the edge of your skirt, right? You've joined the two sides of the front and the back, folded the end all the way to the back like this, how you fold the head of your clothes. And then when you get to this part with the ruching, when you get to this part here, you're going to stop before where the end of the skirt is, or even if you want, you can get to the very end of the skirt this way. So you see what I did here? I folded this part here, and then you're going to just sew it down this way, like how I said you should do it before, tucking the two sides and then have a center seam. Then your ruching will just come out from the edge of this part here. It will look clean. Or if you want, you can stop ahead of time before here. It depends on you how you want it to look. So I'm going to stop at the very end here. So my ruching is going to my rope is just going to come out from the opening of this skirt down here. So guys, this is it here. I finished the skirt part. So you see what I was saying, I just finished it and passed the rope inside of the two casing, and then sewed it down at the top here just to hold it while I go ahead and finish up the top. So you see the inside. So all you have to do is just to ruch it and pull it up all the way to any length you want it to be. So that's basically it. Like if you make yours, if like I said before, if you make more A-line, the more ruch you have, like the more fabric you would have to drag up. So that's basically it for the skirt part. So let's go ahead and cut the top. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished it. So as you can see, the top part, now what you have to do is I folded the fabric into two, and then the next thing I did here is just to mark my line. So like if I place my tape here, you'll see that this is the line I have here. So my top is supposed to start somewhere here. So let's say this is our basic bodice, right? So my top is going to start at about 6.5, because this half an inch here I marked is just for my seam allowance to fold it with the lining. Then from my shoulder to my breast point, and then shoulder to under bust at 14, and then shoulder to waist at 17. And then I also have extra half an inch at the bottom here to join this to the skirt part. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is just to divide the nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and add 1 inch to it. So that's 5 inches. I'm going to mark 5 all the way down here in a straight line. So guys, also the width of this fabric that I have here is just your bust measurement divided by 4 plus like extra 3.5 or extra 4 inches. It depends on you. So that's the width of this fabric here, and this is on a fold. So I'm going to separate. I cut the front and the back. Thing you're going to do is just to go ahead and measure your waist measurement divided by 4. So the waist I'm working with divided by 4 is going to be 8.5. I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to add about extra 3.5 or 4 inches of seam allowance. This is going to be for all these seam allowances I'm going to need here. So you can do 4 inches or you can do 3.5. It depends on how much seam allowance you use when you're sewing. So once I've marked that here, I'm going to connect it all the way to the top, the tip of this cloth here. So connect it like that, and then I'm going to cut this out. This is going to help me to shape the cloth And then after cutting it this way, because remember what we are trying to make here is a tube top. So once I've cut this out all the way, I'm going to separate the front and the back so that we can finish up the front. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to mark about 0.75 on both sides. So that means I'm going to split 1.5 inch at this lower line. That's on one side of this 5 inches. So I'm going to mark 0.75 on this side, 0.75 on this side. And I'm going to also do the same. So I'm also going to bring up the same measurement under this point here. So mark that here, and then connect it to the lower part, connect it to this point. And then I'm going to make this hook, the 2 points to meet this second line here, just like this. And then after that, I'm going to come up here and mark 1 inch on both sides. And then after marking 1 inch on both sides, I'm going to bring it down to this line on both sides. So you see what I did here. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this out. I'm going to go ahead and cut from this side, follow this blue line and trace it out, and then follow this blue line and trace this side out. But before that, remember this is a sweetheart neckline, so you might want to come down here. It depends on how deep you want yours to be. Remember, like I said, my top is starting at 6.5, so somewhere here. So it depends on you. You can come down like 2 inches or 1 inch depending on the V from your shoulder. Maybe you want your V to be at 8 inches from your shoulder down, so you mark that and then connect it to the tip of this the blue line. So connect it to the tip of that one, so that way you have your sweetheart neckline. And then on the other side, to accommodate your armhole, like we did here, we marked this bodice here, so you're going to put it back again, your shoulder to what your armhole is supposed to be. So but remember, this is a tube top, so I might just make mine like come down here by about 9 inches here, which is somewhere here. Mark 9 inches here, and then I'm going to bring this one down this way, because if you leave it straight across this way, it might be digging into your body, like under your armhole, because this is too high, right? So you have to bring it down a little bit to accommodate, because normally if I'm supposed to join a sleeve to the body of this one is just a sleeve that you're going to attach. That's why I need to I'm going to make this one as a tube. But if it's a sleeve that I'm going to join and put in an armhole like this, then I'm going to draw in my armhole this way, like put in armhole this way. But since it's going to be the other way around, like a tube top, and then attach it with a stitch, I'm going to just bring it down in a straight line. So now that I've marked this here, you guys will see how I'm going to cut it out. So guys, you see I cut off this part, cut off the center line here, cut this one out. So guys, now to cut my back bodice, all I have to do, this back bodice here is exactly what I need to accommodate both the zipper. So I'm going to just split it open. Remember, it's the same width of fabric that I use for the back that I use for the front, but the back is going to accommodate my zip. So I've split it open now, and then the next thing I have to do is to use this side of the front, put it here, so that way I can mark where the armhole is supposed to start, somewhere here. So now that I've marked it somewhere here, I'm going to run this line across this way. So I'm going to cut off this top part, because remember, you can't have the back long when you've already brought down the armhole in front. So since I already brought this armhole down in front, I need to also use that, because the two sides are going to meet. And remember, we cut these two sides this way. So since the two of them are going to meet by the side, I need to reduce this armhole to also be the same length. So now that I've marked that, I'm also going to cut it straight across at the back. Now the next thing you have to do is, for the bottom part, I like to reduce it so that my zip will relax better. So I like to come up here by about 1 inch and then blend it into this line, like in an angle. So I'm going to cut this part out now. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do here is that halfway through this here, which is somewhere here, where these two meet each other, there's going to be a straight line across from here to the top. And then I'm going to, on this straight line, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch of darting on both sides. So 1/2 inch on this side, and then also 1/2 inch on this side. So I'm going to dart this way all the way to the top and the bottom. So that is going to be my back panel. As you can see, I have 2 of it here. I have one for this side and then one for the other side, right? But I'm going to dart it at the center all the way to the top with half an inch on both sides, and the same thing for the back here, half an inch on both sides. And then I have my zipper allowance and then the side seam, and then I have the center for the front. I'm going to have my center front, which is this one, and then I have my two sides for the front. So guys, this is what the front looks like. So all I have to do now is to trace it out on a lining, and then I'm going to take it this way and sew this side, join the two sides together on this side, and then join this one also on this side. That way I've made my bust here. So, and then finish up the back also, join the two sides of the back to the front. So I'm going to finish up with the lining and then join it to the top, and then show you guys what it looks like. Here the dress is done. This is what the bottom looks like. This is the sleeve. I've attached it. So guys, the top part, I already made a video on several videos on how to make this sweetheart neckline. So guys, all you have to do, I'm going to put a link to that in the description bar. So all you have to do is just to trace out your lining like I've done here, and then you're going to sew the two sides to the center like I showed you guys before. Do the same thing on the lining, and then join it at this top part here. After joining it, you go ahead and iron it out. Do the same thing for the back. You can see my back also has a lining, and it also has a dart at the center back. And then you see I also have my zip allowance, which I'm still going to put my zip, but currently I don't have a zip here. So to conclude the video, I just closed up the seam. Let me turn it around so you guys can see. So just see, this is where I'm going to insert my zip once I get the zip. So this is it here. And then for the sleeve, this is just basically a rectangular fabric. You can make it as wide as you want. The width I used on a fold, the fabric was folded this way. I used like 12 inches of width here. And then the length also depends on you. Whatever length you decide to use, add about 5 inches to it, because remember this is a puffy sleeve. And once you wear it, you want to bring it up a little to make it puffy. So, and then you need about 1.5 to fold for the elastic at the top and 1.5 for the bottom. So that's basically it. And once you're done, just use a small stitch to hold it to the side. As you can see, this is not attached, it's not sewn into the top, it's just attached at the side with just a zigzag stitch. So that's basically it. Elastic at the top of the sleeve, elastic at the bottom of the sleeve. And then for the front, you can see the ruching, so you can adjust it to any length you want. So that's basically it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for your time. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.